Hi everyone, we're going to analyze the graph of Rx equals 3 over x squared minus 4. The numerator we're going to call our p to the x. Denominator is q to the x. The degree in the numerator is 0, because you could write this as x to the 0. Remember, x to the 0, anything to the 0 power equals 1. So 1 times 3 would be 3. So the degree in the numerator is 0, and the degree in the denominator is 2. Since the degree in the numerator is smaller than the degree in the denominator, we have a horizontal asymptote at y equals 0. And this is number 5, so hopefully you watched some of the other ones. I'm going to go ahead and do step 6. We have a horizontal asymptote at y equals 0. And then we'll do a slide on this part. It's already in lowest terms. To find the domain, you set q to the x equals 0. So the way I do it, I go ahead and just factor. This is x minus 2 times x plus 2. That way you don't forget to do the plus and minus. So we set that to 0. You get all real numbers, but x cannot be 2 and negative 2. So I'm just going to be plus or minus 2. Our function is already in lowest terms. We can't reduce it. So let's go to step 5. Since we have zeros here, our domain can't be, it can't be that, sorry. Since it can't be plus or minus 2, we have vertical asymptotes at x equals plus or minus 2. So we have 2 vertical asymptotes. We don't have any holes because it's already in lowest terms. So we don't have holes here. So let's find some more information. We'll find the x-intercepts. To find the x-intercepts, we set the numerator to 0. So we have our numerator is 3. We have 0 equals 3, which doesn't make sense. So there's no x-intercept. And for the y-intercept, again, here's our equation. To our y-intercept, you set x to be 0. So we want x to be 0. What's our y? So we have 3 over negative 4, because that would just cancel. And so that's going to be negative 3/4 is our y-intercept. Okay, we got a test for symmetry. We're going to plug in negative x and see if we get our original equation or the negation of our original equation. So everywhere there's an x, I'm going to plug in negative x, which gives us 3 over x squared minus 4. Since this does look like our original equation, r to the x is symmetric with respect to the y-axis. So to the y-axis. Okay, we already did the vertical asymptotes. And we're going to see if, we'll do it on the same slide. Our horizontal asymptote was y equals 0. So we set our equation to 0, cross multiply, and we get 3 equals 0 again. That's not true, so Rx does not intersect y equals 0. which is going to be handy when we graph. Now you're supposed to put this in the calculator, and I'm going to act like, again, that I have to graph this by hand. And I'm going to strategically pick intervals based off my vertical asymptotes. So I'm going to do the interval at negative infinity to negative 2, negative 2 to 2, and I'm going to check 2 to infinity. Basically, let's see what goes there. I'm picking negative 2, and I'm picking 2. I want to see how the graph behaves. This interval, in this interval, and in this interval. Okay? Now I'm going to pick points here. So here's my points. I pick as close to negative 2 as possible without being a fraction. So I'm going to pick negative 3 here. I always like to pick 0 if I can, because that's easy. And for this last interval, I'm going to go ahead and pick 3. And I'm going to find my y. So we're going to do the value of r. So r of negative 3, r of 0, and r of 3. You plug it in your equation, you're going to get 3/5, negative 3/4, and here I'm going to pick 3/5. I'm going to find the location of the graph. So since this is positive, this is above the x-axis. This one's below because it's negative, and this is positive, so this is above the x-axis. And I'll just write down my points now, my x and my y. So my points on the graph. So I have negative 3, comma 3/5, 0, comma negative 3/4, which we already knew was our y-intercept, and 3, comma 3/5, and then I'm going to graph. So I'm going to first draw my two vertical asymptotes at x equals negative 2 and x equals 2. We know this is symmetric to the y-axis. This is x equals negative 2, x equals 2. I have 3 intervals here that I did checks on. So my first point was negative 3 and 3/5. So that looks like this. We know it's above the x-axis. Negative 3, comma 3/5. Had a y-intercept at 0, comma 3/4. This one goes like this. That was 0, comma negative 3/4. And we know it's symmetric to the y-axis. So this point right here is 3, comma 3/5. And it kind of goes like this. None of this crosses. We had a horizontal asymptote at y equals 0, I believe. So it doesn't cross our horizontal asymptote. And that's all. The next one we do is also going to be symmetric to the y-axis as well. Thank you and have a nice day. Bye-bye.